This is ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening. I'm Haley Wilgus. Alan is off tonight. Thank you for joining us. A historic milestone today in Sarasota County's fight against human trafficking. For the first time ever, our state attorney's office has reached a conviction for trafficking. 22-year-old Ronald McBride III was also convicted of aggravated assault, aggravated battery with a firearm, sexual battery, and other charges. He began abusing a young woman in November, coercing her into selling her body for money and drugs on the street. One night, when the victim didn't return, McBride found her and beat her with a gun. She was able to escape and get in contact with law enforcement. An assistant state attorney described how this victim responded to today's ruling.
There were no words, there were lots of happy tears. We hope that it inspires others to come forward.
Sentencing for McBride is set for September 16th. He faces life in prison. A massive 6-alarm fire broke out early morning today, and while no one was injured, 2 buildings have been totally destroyed. The first began just before 5 a.m. inside a warehouse behind JR's Old Packing House Cafe off Cattleman Road. That restaurant suffered only minimal damage. As for the 2 warehouses, they were both total losses. We're told the warehouse served as a storage facility, and financial losses could total in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
We just grabbed a bunch of stuff. It was so hot by my truck. I mean, it was scorching, so I just flew out as fast as I could with a lot of stuff.
The fire was involved of one of the entire warehouses that ran about 200 feet long towards the interstate from the roadway. The entire roof was on fire at the time we arrived.
No one was injured in this fire. Fire officials are still investigating what caused it. On Tuesday, Manatee County commissioners will consider whether to put a half-cent sales tax on the ballot in November. The tax could bring in $23 million annually for infrastructure improvements, with no funds from the county to encourage voters to support the tax. Commissioners say they may just have to encourage voters themselves during their runs for re-election.
They are members of this community. They are the taxpayers. And I think it would be nice if they would be the ones to get out there and talk to the community.
If the increase goes through, Manatee County would have a 7% sales tax, the same as the 5 counties it borders. The Manatee County Commission is reviewing its 5-year plan, which includes nearly $100 million worth of projects. Those include expanding Robinson Preserve, upgrading boat ramps, and continuing work on 44th Avenue East. Work on the project is set to get underway in October. Funding sources include impact fees, grants, and tax revenue. Florida's unemployment numbers in May are down from the month before, according to the Department of Economic Opportunity. The state added more than 24,000 jobs last month. Unemployment is now at 4.7%, matching the national rate. Sarasota and Manatee counties are both below that average, with 4% and 3.9% unemployment, respectively. Some homes on Minnesota Key are now in critical danger of falling into the Gulf of Mexico. 90-year-old Betty Gothrop is being told that her home is cracking at its base. Insurance adjusters say it could now be too dangerous to live there. Gothrop and other residents have been working with Sarasota County to get assistance. They would like to put in sandbags, but the ones approved by the county are likely too small to make any difference.
I want to spend the rest of my life here, even though I don't expect it to be 10 more years, but I wanted to spend it here, and now I'm not sure I can spend the rest of the summer here.
Sarasota County says it's working closely with homeowners to find a solution. Tropical Storm Colin dropped a lot of rain on our area, and seasonal rainfall continues to intensify the flood problems already on the Suncoast. The Myakka River remains under a flood warning. Water levels are above 8 feet at the park, causing flooding on the main road. The Peace River in Arcadia is experiencing severe flooding as well, and a lot of areas saw even more rain today, Bob.
That's right, and that flood warning has been going on since Colin, so it's been with us for over a week and a half, and it looks like going below flood stage tonight will be the Peace River, so that's some good news. It is at about 11 feet, flood stage around 10 and a half or so, so things are looking a little bit better on that front, but still, more rain is in the offing as a result of a system coming down from the north. You can see we had a little burst of energy earlier today, brought some showers, and another one now moving through Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia tonight, producing some rough weather there. That will be in place on Saturday. High today was 90, 81 was our low, well above average, and it looks like a warm and muggy night tonight once again. As far as the rain goes, the heaviest stuff by far well to the east and south of us now. A few showers are still possible. You see that activity kind of popping up and then dissipating quickly to the west of Anna Maria Island this evening. So the rain chance less than 20%. If we see anything tonight, it'll be a brief shower. Some showers will redevelop, though, late tonight and on Saturday morning due to this front. You can see it stretching from South Carolina all the way over to Mississippi tonight near Jackson. Those storms are pretty strong, too. It will lose some of that energy before it reaches us, but I would not be surprised to see some pretty big cells moving on through. This particular forecast model shows that line moving down Saturday morning, a few showers possible, and then with the daytime heating, it will get a little active again. And so showers and storms will be scattered about on Saturday. It doesn't appear to be a rain out by any stretch, but nonetheless, keep an eye out for them. And a rip current advisory will stay with us for area beaches through tomorrow afternoon. That means that west wind continuing, and that causes rip currents, and those are very dangerous. By Sunday, you'll notice those showers start to move in from the east, a little bit of a change in our weather, and that will allow us to cool down Sunday night, and Monday morning we'll be back down into the low 70s, which is much better than we've seen over the past couple of mornings. Scattered storms for boaters tomorrow. You have to dodge those. Seas running 2 to 4 feet. A bit breezy out there, 15 knots for the most part. Water temperature at 86 degrees, and that's warm. And the 7-day forecast shapes up like this. Scattered storms on Father's Day. That'll be mainly in the afternoon and evening. We'll start to get back to more of those afternoon variety of storms. And then you'll notice temperatures finally dropping down to more seasonal averages by Monday morning, Haley. So low 70s as opposed to low 80s. Pretty nice.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah. Thank you, Bob. Still to come, hearing directly from the candidates. Find out how campaigns are using social media to stay in close contact with voters. That story when we come back.
What does it mean when New South Window says Factory Direct?
It means we have a factory.
It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct pricing.
Plus, New South windows are made in Florida.
Ford Florida Home.
By Florida workers. Because we know Florida weather.
Bring your measurements this Saturday from 9 to 4 to get huge discounts. New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
Did you know many dogs are returned to shelters simply because they lack obedience? Contact Canine Corral about various training programs. We train dogs and their owners. Canine Corral, where the love is.
Just because someone grows older, does that mean they have to grow apart from their friends or from the things they love to do? With Right at Home, it doesn't. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to help with personal care, housekeeping, meals, and most of all, staying engaged in life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I sure am.
We can provide the right care right at home.
At SWC Properties, we pride ourselves on providing to you the very best in customer satisfaction. To list your home with SWC, give us a call, and don't forget to watch the House to Home show every Saturday night here on ABC 7. It's simple. We just market your home better.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC 7. We're here for you.
You've probably seen them along the side of the road, signs encouraging you to vote for one candidate or another. But in recent years, political messages are increasingly going online, where politicians can speak more directly with the voters and hear what they're thinking. ABC 7's Ray Collins shows us how this technology is changing our political landscape.
The oldest button is now 116 years old.
Mark Weston's a Sarasota-based presidential historian.
You see Woodrow Wilson and Warren Harding and Franklin Roosevelt.
Not only does he collect buttons, he writes books about the presidency, and he can also tell you how the candidates used to campaign, which might shock you.
During the 1700s and 3/4 of the 1800s, it was considered vulgar for a presidential candidate to campaign. So while their assistants are writing letters or sending telegraphs, they are at home. Thomas Jefferson, for example, during the 1800 election, was managing his wheat crop and writing a manual on parliamentary procedure. It wasn't until William Jennings Bryan in 1896, followed quickly by Theodore Roosevelt, that the modern way of campaigning, going from city to city, began. And they of course went by railroad.
And so it began, from trains to planes, from telegraphs to radio to TV, and now the internet and social media.
Yeah, so here's Donald Trump's comment about the terrorist attack in Orlando. About 500,000 people have liked it. 256,000 people have shared it, so they posted it to their list, and 35,000 people have submitted comments.
Christian Ziegler was one of the earliest social media campaigners.
I was one of the first new media directors that worked on Capitol Hill that would have been back in 2008.
He has since worked on presidential, congressional, and even school board campaigns. He says candidates on any level can't win without exploiting social media.
No, they absolutely need it.
And Ziegler says you are being watched and typecast each time you log on and comment.
The other power of social media is really it allows you to target down to the individual and the interests that they're interested in. So on Facebook, everything you do on Facebook, when you're liking a post or you're liking a page, it's really bucketing you in that issue. So if you are against amnesty and you mark it on Facebook that you're against amnesty, now those candidates can drive a message that's specifically catered to you.
So is all this social media a good thing or a bad thing for our system? Mark Weston has mixed emotions. On one hand,
the whole virtue of tact just seems to be flying out the window, and I think that's unfortunate.
However,
with tweets and Instagrams and things like that, you're getting a direct message from the candidate, which I think is a good thing.
And no surprise, Ziegler agrees.
Anytime you can have the candidate or the elected official speaking directly with the voters, it's a win. And anytime you can have the voters share their thoughts and their comments, it's a win. So social media really facilitates that, and I think it's a win for everyone.
In Sarasota, Ray Collins, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Ray. We will speak with the people who craft the social media campaigns for candidates on our roundtable when we return.
That's Chuck, proud homeowner, regular do-it-yourselfer. Today he's attempting an electrical repair. This is Pablo. He's an electrician with Mr. Sparky. How's he doing, Pablo?
Terrible, Mike.
Yeah. What Chuck doesn't realize is that almost 68,000 home fires are caused every year by electrical problems.
What?
If he doesn't have the proper tools and training, he's liable to start the next one.
Little help here.
That's what I'm talking about.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
You might want to write that number down.
I'm Dale Mast, and we're celebrating 40 years on the west coast of Florida.
It's our 40th anniversary, and it's time for a celebration, the Culligan Hydration Celebration. For a limited time, celebrate by taking $250 off any Culligan home system. That's $250 off Culligan water softener systems, drinking water systems, or whole house water filters. Help us celebrate our 40th anniversary, and remember,
for better water, pure and simple, call today and say,
"Hey, Culligan man."
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
We've been slow smoking over oak for more than 45 years. And while sticking to tried and true traditions is kind of our thing, it doesn't hurt to throw something new in the smoker every now and then. Come get some slow smoked chicken wings at Sonny's Barbecue. Order them as an appetizer or as part of a combo with pork, baby back ribs, or both, starting at $10.99. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Welcome back. Joining us for more on the use of social media and political campaigns is Candice McElia of 360 PR and Kramer Verde, who has done some marketing work for iCreate as well as Unidos Now. Thanks for being with us. So this, I think, more than any other campaign, have we seen the effect of social media.
Absolutely.
Is that correct?
Yeah, it's been really, it's been crazy. This campaign cycle has been extremely interesting to watch and to be a part of.
Very remarkable that work has been done. We can see from the Bernie Sanders campaign, a campaign that was basically created with social media. A lot of their volunteers, followers are mainly recruited that way.
And how has social media changed just in the last few years? We know it's been around for a few election cycles now, but just recently.
I think more and more people are getting involved, and it depends. Now there's so many different social media platforms too, so it really depends on based on your age demographic, which one you gravitate towards. I mean, there's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Vine, you know, you name it. There's so many different platforms, and I think what's really changing now, video is becoming a lot more prevalent, where everybody, you know, even Facebook Live, you could be going live on Facebook, doing whatever you're doing. You could be recording your own videos. You know, that's, I think, the biggest, most recent trend that we've seen.
And you mentioned the different platforms. Which one do you think is the most effective? Of course, you mentioned some of the newer ones like Snapchat, but Facebook has been around much longer.
Right. For me, I don't know what your feeling is, but I think Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are the most effective ones for campaigns, at least. YouTube, you can be loading, doing your own videos, answering questions that people are Googling about you. And Facebook, I think, for that 35 to 55 demographic is very popular. Twitter, I think, is a different demographic, but that would be my take.
My preference always with Facebook and Twitter. We believe that it's a little bit more interactive. More people is used to the format. There are some new applications that are coming on. Meerkat is a new one. It's trying to catch on, but let's see how that works by the time the actual campaigns are working. But let's not forget about emails. I mean, social media is pretty good, but emails will be always the king.
And why is that? Hillary and Donald email me daily, right?
All of us, right?
Yeah.
So close.
Exactly.
So it goes right to your inbox. You see it whether you want to or not. Looking back, what would you say are some of the bigger social media fails that you've seen?
Well, I mean, Donald, you know, love him or hate him, I think when it comes to candidates being on Twitter, and it's so immediate, social media is so immediate, I think you have to, it's working for him, obviously, but sometimes I think you really have to just encourage your candidate, or if you are the one tweeting for your candidate, just take a breath for a minute and make sure that what you're saying is accurate. I think that's a big thing.
True, I have to agree with that. And also, I think the use of media and the access from people to all these apps and having internet so accessible from your phone, it actually puts a lot of effort from the candidate, because you have to say and come up with statements that are truthful. Because if you come up with something that's a little bit weird, people have the option to actually verify what you're saying. You know, if you're a bit resourceful and you see something a little bit crazy, you can go and verify from news sources, databases. It's very interesting. I think with campaigns based on the use of internet and social media, we're going to have a more educated, knowledgeable electorate.
With all the fact checking,
Yes,
that's right. And going back to Donald, I wanted to know, why is it that Donald Trump seems to be able to say anything on Twitter, things that other candidates, it would have tanked their campaigns? Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that Donald's success is based in the fact that people believe that he just says it like it is, and that's why people like him, because he's a straight shooter. People are sick of politicians with politicians speak, and so I think that works for him because that's his base and that's his strength. Is people want to know that what they're hearing is the truth and what the candidate really thinks. Now, when it comes to some of the other candidates, you don't really know if they're the one that's doing their own tweeting, if they're doing their own Facebook. And it's a little bit scary, I think, to be a candidate nowadays, because one blunder, one misstep, and it's gone viral. You know, you've had 1 million views on there, so in 15 minutes. So I think it's a little bit scary to be a candidate, but the more honest and open and I think straightforward you can be, the better off people will relate to that.
Well, on regards Mr. Trump, you can say whatever you want. Depending on who are your electorate, the people that you're working with, they will accept it or reject it. He has a lot of acceptance from the people that follows his party, a lot of rejection, financially, socially, and those are the things that you have to think and evaluate before you make a statement. And whatever you say online, it never goes away. You want to take it back, but it's out there, and that's it. There's no taking back on the online.
And speaking of that, what do you do to train or warn your clients about the dangers of social media going too far, perhaps?
Well, we represent a lot of different clients, and some of them like to do their own. Some of them like us to do it, which really entails knowing their voice and understanding what they want to say. And some others, it's kind of a mix. Some you're going on and just making sure that they're spelling words correctly and not, no grammatical mistakes, and you're fixing the things that they're messing up on. So I think when it comes to coaching, you want your voice, your true voice and your true personality to come across effectively, and you want to be respectful too. I mean, my general rule in social media, whether it's for a candidate or a business owner, is be positive and spread something that's going to add to the conversation in a positive way. Let's create, good conversations rather than negativity and ugliness, because there's enough of that. Like, let's promote these conversations in a good way. So that's how I normally will coach my candidates.
Yeah, I think that's the best way, to communicate. But what we have to go back is who is listening and who is watching these views. Anything that you post on Facebook or Twitter, a lot of times gets more reaction for something that's a little more glamorous or something unpredictable. And that's one of the reasons why Donald Trump gets so much attention, because we don't know what he's going to say next.
Shock value, right?
Yes, that's what it is.
And do you encourage people who are running for office to share some personal things on social media as well, or just stick to the campaign message?
I think the more personal you can be when you let people into your personality a little bit, let them know who you are, I think people really like that and enjoy it, and it creates more of a relationship there where people feel like they know you a little bit better. So yeah, I absolutely encourage that.
You have to ask permission for who you want to be personal with. I think when you get to family, of course, direct family like wife, kids are going to be always involved. But it's up to the candidate, and they need to understand what the risk is on, involving all that personal life, putting it out there on the internet.
All that stuff's going to be out there regardless, so you might as well control the message on your...
Get out there first.
Yeah, exactly.
And before we wrap, what else besides social media do you think are the most effective ways? Is it still TV ads? Is it signs? Is it mail outs? What else is still working?
I think door-to-door knocking is still very effective, especially in your local races. People want to know that you're out there. They want to know that you're out with people, going to events, speaking engagements. I think direct mail is, hit or miss. How many times do you get a pile of stuff in your mailbox and you just trash it? Nobody reads it. I think those in-person interactions are highly effective.
Like she said, the small races the personal contact is the best way to go. But going back to the social media, you're basically fundraising to spend it on TV. And that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So TV is still at play.
TV is still in play.
And it's expensive, so you do have to fundraise to be able to afford that.
You just use social media as a new source of fundraising. That's what it is.
Very good point. All right. Well, thank you all for being with us. Very fun, and it's something that's really topical right now. We'll be back with some viewer comments in a moment.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, because Sarasota Ford guarantees you our lowest price on every new Ford every day. Save on America's best-selling truck, 39 years running, the Ford F-150. Fusions, Escapes, over 800 vehicles on-site or online, all on sale. Buy with 0% for 60 months. And now, get up to 2,000 trade assistance. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
They took that stress and that tension when I was particularly feeling very bad after that nasty car accident, and it was such a relief to know that I didn't have to bear that burden alone, that I had help.
Our goal is to not just get a satisfactory settlement on their case. We want them up on their feet, happy again. They've gotten their life back.
Florida Studio Theater presents The Fabulous Lipitones, now held over by popular demand. A high note leaves the Barbershop Quartet without their fourth member just before the national competition. What ensues is a comedy of misunderstanding, stereotypes, and the path to perfect harmony that critics say has laughs galore and gets right to the heart. Buy tickets now by calling 941-366-9000 or visit FloridaStudioTheater.org.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone who had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to their heart or lungs. Did your IVC filter move, break, or cause organ damage? The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, even death. If you or a loved one suffered serious complications, call IVC Filter Helpline now. You may be entitled to compensation. IVC filters are designed to prevent blood clots. If your IVC filter moved or broke and you suffered heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, or if a loved one died as a result, call IVC Filter Helpline today. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. You'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call today for a free confidential consultation. Don't fight this alone. Call IVC Filter Helpline now.
Please call 800-897-6764. That is 800-897-6764.
Florida is third in the nation for cases of human trafficking, and we see the problem right here on the Sun Coast. Groups such as More to Life are working to help survivors recover from being sold into sexual slavery. Law enforcement is also changing its tactics when working prostitution cases. And here's what you had to say. Tony Thomas writes, why not ask Scott and Bondi about this? What have they done? What are their plans to combat this? Ask questions. And Bonnie Sutton writes, horrible. We need to jump up efforts to stop human trafficking. To tell us your thoughts on tonight's topic, visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/news@7. That's all the time we have for this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you tonight at 11. Have a great evening.